Hey guys, welcome to third grade math. It's Miss Betby's and I am a pilot. So I switched gears just a little bit if you were watching me a minute ago, but we're still staying in the aviation area. Okay, we learned what that term meant just a few minutes ago, okay? And so right now we are going to be flying on Worldwide Airlines and I need your help, okay? Now we are boarding pilots. Okay, so I've dressed as a pilot today because I need you guys to help me out and I need you to be my pilots too because we have a lot of places that we need to travel as we practice some elapsed time today. So over the last 2 weeks, we've learned how to tell time to the minute and we've learned how on Monday to find time that has passed by. That's what elapsed time means. And so we are going to continue with elapsed time today. And I wanted to find a fun way to do that. So I also wanted to find something that was real world, something that you see constantly in the real world, and time is absolutely one of those things. So it really wasn't hard to find. And so I came up with this little activity for you guys that we could do. And we're going to review telling time to the minute today by rolling this little dice that I made. And inside, instead of having numbers, we have clocks, right? And so we're going to practice telling time to the nearest minute. And so when we roll our dice, it's going to tell us where we are going to travel to, okay? Where we are going to pilot. And we're going to use these envelopes that I have behind me to find the matching digital time, and it's going to tell us where we're traveling. And then we're going to do a little elapsed time problem about how long it would take us to get there as the pilot. Are you guys ready? Okay, get your pilot caps on, get your sunglasses on, and let's get ready to fly. Here we go. Okay, so I have up here on the board our passport, okay? So if you've ever traveled before to another country, you have to have a passport that allows you to get in. Okay, well I know all of you have that because you're a pilot and so you're going to different countries all the time, so you've got one of those. Okay, well now today, where are we traveling? Well that's a great question. Let's see. We could travel to Germany, Ireland, China, Brazil, England, and India. Those are the places that we could possibly travel today. We're going to travel to as many as we have time for and see how far we go, okay? So here we go. As we finish, we'll check off our passport and show that we have been there, okay? We traveled there. Now, I'm going to use our clock, and we're also going to use the other strategy that we learned about on Monday, which was a timeline. So on Monday, I had a timeline that was on the board, but today, we're going to practice what you guys would probably be using at home and most frequently once you kind of get the hang of elapsed time, and that's actually drawing your own. And I'm going to show you how to do that and how you would find elapsed time that way, okay? So let's go ahead and fly on. So we're going to roll our dice, okay? All right, so this is what we got. Can y'all see it? Okay, so let's recall, what is our hour hand? And which one is our minute hand? And where are they pointing on this clock? Well, we know that hour hand's shorter than the minute hand, right? Okay, well, our hour hand, this looks to be the shorter hand, and it's between two numbers. It's between the 9 and the 10. Well, that's okay. We know how to do that, okay? And then before we determine that hour, we do want to look at our whole clock because we talked about last week how important that is because sometimes we can get tricked if we don't look at the whole clock and think about what's making sense here, okay? So here's our minute hand. It's over here. It hasn't even made it halfway around the clock, has it? Okay, it hasn't even passed that 30-minute marker because we know that there's 60 minutes in a full hour, right? So 30 would be half of that. So here's our hour hand. It's between 9 and 10. So what would our hour be, everybody? Yes, 9 o'clock. Okay, and then let's count our minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22. So our time is 9:22. Well, let's find, where do we see 9:22 back here? I see it, do you? We are traveling to China first. Okay, here's the time written digitally, 9:22 to match that clock. let's see what kind of elapsed time practice we can gain from our being a pilot. Okay, guys, so here it is. All right, it says, there are many flights to China each day. Fill the chart to show what time the flights leave on Thursday, because it's Thursday and we're flying. It says on Thursdays, planes leave every 20 minutes, okay? Fill in the missing times below. All right, so we've got our flight numbers, okay? And so you might see this in an airport. You might see the flight numbers, where they're heading, and then you see what time they would take off, right? So that's what we're looking at here. Well, we have to figure out, because we are so good at elapsed time and at telling time, we're going to be able to determine these other times based on what we know. And what we know is that flight 7045, it's going to take off at 11:20, and it told us up here that the planes leave every 20 minutes on Thursday. Well, if we wanted to find what time the next plane's going to leave, what would we do? We'd go 20 more minutes, right? Very good. Okay, now I bet there's some of you who could do this in your head. Am I right? If you know what 20 plus 20 is, even if you don't know what 20 plus 20 is, and you can break 20 into two tens because two tens make a 20, you could say 20, 30, 40, or 20 and 20 is 40. Use your knowledge of doubles. If you know 2 plus 2 is 4, then 20 plus 20 would be 40, right? So the next one's pretty easy, okay? Is our hour changing? It's not, because how many minutes make the next hour? 60, and we're only at 40, right? So our hour, our next time leaving would be 11:40. So flight 5157 will take off at 11:40. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, well, we know time passes 20 more minutes, right? Well, let's put the previous time on our clock. We did the first one in our head, so we kind of used that strategy. Now let's use another strategy, okay? So we're going to go to 11:40. Okay, so if I use my knowledge, I put it on 11 o'clock and I went 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. There it is. When that minute hand's on the 8, that represents 40 minutes. Okay, well, now we're going to go 20 more minutes. Are y'all ready? 5, 10, 15, 20. What time is it, y'all? 12 o'clock. Very good. Who knew that 40 plus another 20 gave you 60? And what do we know about 60 minutes? That's a new hour. So now our next flight will take off at 12 o'clock. All right? And then the next plane would take off at what time? Do you know how to take your zeros as placeholders and move 20 more minutes? Or how to add 20? I bet you can do it in your head, can't you? You already know the answer, don't you? Well, let's check it, okay? So here we are at 12, and we're going to go 20 minutes. 5, 10, 15, 20. And what time is it, everybody? 12:20. You knew that already, didn't you? Very good, okay? Now, there's one blank still here, and I saved it till the end on purpose, okay? But I bet this is not even going to be hard for you. Okay, so here we increased in 20-minute increments, right? Well, the same thing happened from here to here, right? But the problem is that we're missing this previous time. So am I going to go forward 20 minutes on my clock? No, I'm going to go backwards to find the time that it was before. And how many minutes do you think I'm going to go back, everybody? 20, yes, because it moved from here to here 20 minutes. Who already knows the time? I bet you already know. I bet you're doing this in your head right now. Okay, well, if I go and put 11:20 back on my clock, which was the time here, and I count back, I'm going back 20 minutes because I need to find the previous time, the previous flight, and what time it took off. 5, 10, 15, 20. What time is it, everybody? 11 o'clock. Okay, if you knew that 20 minutes from the top of the hour, okay, if you think about that, if you look at it, if you went back 20 minutes, you knew we were at 11 o'clock. Very good. Look at y'all. Man, y'all are some master pilots here. So let's check off China, right? Because that's where we just traveled. So on our visa, I'm going to check off China. Look at y'all. Man, you are getting great with elapsed time. This is awesome. Okay, well, let's look at another one. Okay, how are we going to do that? We're going to roll our dice again. Are you ready? I can't really shake it in my hands, but I can do this. Okay, let's see. All right. Look closely. Where's my hour hand and where's my minute hand pointing? Okay, well, we see that shorter hand is on the 6 pretty much, right? Okay, well, now think about what we know about this. If we look at the rest of our clock, is it quite 6 o'clock yet? No, that minute hand's getting really close, but is it quite there? It's not. So is our hour really 6, or is it tricking us a little bit? It's one of those tricky ones. It's one of those where this is so important that I look at the whole clock, because I know now that when I look over here, if that minute hand's on this side of the clock, that hour hand's getting closer to the next hour, and it tricks me sometimes. So my hour's still actually 5. Very good. And then let's look at our minutes. Well, we know here was 30 minutes. Could we just start counting from there if we already have that knowledge? Yeah, you might already know that this is 45 minutes. And you can count on from where you are comfortable if you know how to do that. So let's count on from 30, and I can show you how to do that if you're not sure. It's already gone from here to here, and we know that's 30 minutes. So that's 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. And if you look at it closely, it is literally 1 minute before that 10 marker, which we know is 50. So that makes the time 5 what? 5:49. Very good. So let's find that time. I found it. Man, we're staying over here on this side. Okay, so we're going to India. All right, let's see what kind of challenge India has for us. Okay. Ooh, I liked this one. Okay. Welcome to India. You start flying to India at 10:25 a.m. You land the plane at 2:31 p.m. How long were you in the air for? This is a word problem, and we've been learning about those. We started learning about those prior to learning about time, right? So if we think back, we learned that with word problems, we have to think about what is the problem telling me and what am I trying to find before I can find my answer. So let's look at that. Okay, so if we start flying to India at 10:25 a.m. All right, well, let's put 10:25 on our clock. Here's 10 o'clock, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, okay? All right, and then we land the plane at 2:31 p.m. We actually went from a.m. to p.m. When do we change from a.m. to p.m.? Who remembers that? At 12 o'clock, right? And this would be 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, which we call noon. We learned that last time, okay? So we're starting in the morning and we're traveling such a far distance, we're on the plane for hours. So we are going from a.m. to p.m. So we would start at 10:25 and we would go to what time? The ending time, right? Which we know from our problem is 2:31 p.m. And then the amount of time that passes is what's going to tell me how long you were in the air for as the pilot, right? All right, well, I am going to show you this, we'll check with this strategy, but I do want to show you another strategy. I told you today I wanted to show you about number lines, right? So we've been learning about how we can use a number line with time, with elapsed time. So let's look at that, okay? If I know my start time, okay, then I can do this. So I'm going to start at 10:25. So I'm going to put that time on my timeline. So everybody see that? That's my starting point, okay? And it says that we land the plane at 2:31. Well, the easiest, largest chunk of time is an hour when we're looking at hours and minutes, okay? So we are going to go and we are going to move hours. Okay, well, we're at 10 and we need to go to 2. We also learned the other day that if we go in hours and we go the same amount of minutes, so if we're at 25 minutes, if we go to the next hour, which is 11:25, that's a full 60 minutes. not just going straight up to 11, because you already have 25 minutes that are passed, and that's not a full 60 minutes. Does that make sense? Okay, so if I'm at 10:25, if I hop and go to 11:25, that's 1 hour. Do you see that? All right, let's go to the next one, because we're not to 2 yet, are we? All right, the next one would be 12:25. All right, what's the next one? We switch from 12 to 1. So 1:25. And then what's the next one? 2:25. Now, I'm in the correct hour because my time that I'm trying to go to is 2:31. So do I want to go a whole nother hour? No, that's going to put me too far into 3:25. So I'm at 2:25, and I'm going to go now from the 25 minutes and figure out the rest of the minutes. It's no more hours. The rest of the minutes that it takes to get to 31 from 25. Well, if you're good at skip counting by fives, if you're at 25, what's the next 5? 30, right? So 25, 30, 5 more minutes would be 30. I'll put 5 minutes, and that takes me to 2:30. How many more do I need then? Just 1 more minute, because I need to get to 31. So plus 1 takes me to 2:31. Now let's put all this together and use our knowledge of addition to add all of our hours and minutes. So this was 1 hour in each of these humps, right? And then we had 5 minutes and then 1 minute. So let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. And then 4 hours plus 5 plus 1 more minute gives me 4 hours and 6 minutes. So how long were we in the air? 4 hours and 6 minutes. Look at that. Do you see how easy that was? The biggest thing you have to do is a problem Miss Betby's had. I probably should have started a little further over here, maybe written a little smaller, or maybe if I had more space, make myself a larger line for my time. Does everybody see that? Okay, because it does get kind of confusing if you're trying to squunch it all on here, especially if you're new at doing this. Okay? Man, we are just flying right through this activity. Y'all are doing awesome. Okay, y'all ready for another one? Here we go. Oh, here's another one. Okay, so we landed on this one. Look at our hour hand, look at our minute hand. So glad we landed on different ones every time. If not, we just roll again. Okay, so our hour hand's pointing at what number, everybody? It's pointing at the 12. Now look closely at that minute hand. Look at the whole clock. What time do you think it is on the clock? Do you think that it's 12 o'clock? No, don't get tricked, right? It's about to be 12 o'clock, but it's not there yet. So these are the trickiest ones of all. The hour's still what? 11, even though it looks like 12. And then our minute hand is really close. It's also between the 11 and the 12. So if we count our minutes, that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and 1 more minute is 56. So 11:56. Okay, where are we traveling now? 11:56. Here we are. Where did we land? Brazil. Man, we're getting to go to some really cool places, okay? Betby's is really trying to take y'all on some adventures each week because we can't really go anywhere and go on real adventures, can we? So I'm trying to make it fun little adventures here on TV. All right, so welcome to Brazil. You arrive in Brazil at 9:15 p.m. So we're landing here at 9:15 p.m. It says you left this morning at 11:56. That would be a.m., right? How long was your flight? I see a typo, okay? So we arrived in Brazil at 9:15 p.m. and we left at 11:56 a.m. That's a long time, isn't it? there really is a large amount of time here. And so if you've ever traveled to another country, you know that time changes as you travel from one place to another. They have different time zones. And so also these are long places, okay? It takes a long time to get to these places is what I should be saying. And so this is important that I remind you of that. Miss Babies is gonna put a little N right here because I have a little typo right there. It should say long. Okay, so again, we have a word problem. So thinking about what we know that we arrive in Brazil at 9:15. So we arrive at 9:15 p.m., okay? We left at 11:56 a.m., okay? Well, if you think about it, 11:56 a.m. is really close to p.m., isn't it? Okay, yeah, because at 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, noon, it's going to be p.m. anyways. Okay, so we're really close to that. How close is 56 to 60? Sure, close, aren't they? 57, 58, 59, 60. You're only 4 minutes from it turning into p.m. anyway. So let's put our, it says, okay, so let's put our starting time as 11:56, and then we're going to go to 9:15, and we're going to see how much time passes. Okay, so I'm going to put 11, and then 56, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 56. There it is right there, okay? And we're going to go to 9:15. All right, well, let's count our hours and keep going to that 56-minute marker until we get to, should we go to 9? If it's 9:15? We're going to go to 8:56 and then stop there and count our minutes. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is 8:56. Does everybody see that? 9 hours is 8:56. But I've got to go to 9:15. Okay? All right, so I said 8 hours. Let's write that down so I don't forget. Okay, now let's go the rest of our minutes. Okay, well, we just said from 56 to the new hour would be 4 minutes. Let's go ahead and move those 4 minutes. And if we're going to 9:15, okay, that was 4, and now it's 9 o'clock, okay? And now let's go 15 more minutes. Well, 15 more minutes would be 5, 10, 15. That was 15. And then how many more was it from 56 to 60? 4. So that would be 15 plus 4 is what? 19. So 8 hours and 19 minutes. Whoa. Who wants to be on a plane that long? I don't know that I do. Okay, guys, well, that is all that we have time for today because just as we've been practicing elapsed time, Ms. Betby's had 30 minutes of elapsed time, and so that time has elapsed and we are coming to an end. So again, I hope you'll join me on Monday. I had really fun traveling with you. You were awesome pilots and awesome co-workers to work with today. So I will see you Monday and we will be doing some cool new things. Bye, guys.